We're here live. We're not live.
Hi, Castlebarians. It is now time to have a casual conversation for the beneficial good of our community. The show you are about to listen to is called What's Up, Castleberry? And now it is my absolute pleasure to introduce to you your hosts, Andy and Drew.
Oh, and don't forget that lovely producer, Robin.
What's up, podcast listeners? It's Andy. It's Drew coming to you from your earbuds, wherever you listen to podcasts. We are the What's Up Castleberry podcast. It's episode 72, listeners. As you can tell, I'm a little punchy. I'm a little excited to be with my friend Andy. We are all about talking all things Castleberry for the good of the residents in and around Castleberry. And we have a action-packed episode with the mayor himself coming on to have a conversation in just a few minutes. Andy, welcome to the podcast. Good to see you.
Hey, it's good to be here on this live recording with you, Drew. Someone asked me the other day, hey, do you guys do that live? And it's like, yeah, of course we do it live. It's just that you get to listen to the recording of us doing it live. But yeah, we've got a very special guest today. In fact, as I was listening to you give that introduction when you said we're about Castleberry, for Castleberry, with Castleberry, in Castleberry, I cannot think of a guest who is more Castleberry than Mayor Dave Henson, not just because he's the mayor, but because he's been in the city for so long. He's served in so many ways. And you can tell through the conversation that you will hear soon that he is deeply, deeply committed to our community.
That's right. He is an institution here and he has deep roots. And Andy, I just got to throw this out there, man. I am, after many years of my wife and I living in Castleberry, we have finally saved and went with the decision to actually lay sod in our yard just in time for this, quite the drought we've been going through. So praying for rain anytime. But we have grass, hopefully in time for rainy season. So I feel like you and I have touched on this in the past episodes, but just to peel back for our listeners, tell me how much you love doing yard work.
Oh, on a scale of 1 to 100, that would be a big 0. I do not have green fingers. I tend to make things worse. And so I tend to let things go a little bit as well. And this dry season we've been having has not helped at all. So I was grateful for the rain the other week. I keep watching the weather and it says, 5, 10, 15% chance of rain. I'm like, can we just bump those numbers up a little bit? Because after the rains fall, it is amazing if you drive around the city, how fresh everything looks. Even the nice yards look nicer after we've had a little bit of rain.
I agree. Could not agree more. Anytime we're rain, as the famous country singer Luke Bryan said, rain is a good thing. Well, folks, we know that you are.
Thanks for that. I didn't know you were a country music aficionado.
Listen, I've got lots of talents. I could try to pull them out occasionally. Lots of not just the office quotes. And we quote other things here on the.
The only other agricultural reference I know from country music is that she thinks my tractor is sexy.
I knew you were going to go there. That's great. Yes. Indeed.
Who sings that?
That's Kenny Chesney.
She thinks my... Yeah, okay. We've already done a singing episode. We don't want to do that again.
Sorry, producer Robin. We've got a lot to work with here.
Yeah, well, Robin's not here. So, when the cat's away, the mice will play, Robin.
That's right. And because Robin's not here, I am sad to say that the next segment, Castleberry's most iconic, energetic, enthusiastic segment.
You're on your own, buddy. You're on your own.
I don't have Robin to support and laugh at my jokes. Listener, it's time for the dad joke of the week. Andy, you've just got to deal with this. This one, I think, though, this one had me rolling, not as much as my alpaca joke last week.
Oh, my goodness. You remember these things. I'm trying to erase them from my memory, and somehow you keep capturing them.
Well, I felt like it's appropriate because we have Mayor Henson, the leader of our city, on, that we do a joke related to politics. So here it is. This is not accurate, listeners. So again, this is just a joke. But listener,
it's funny. You've gone from explaining your jokes to now preparing people for your jokes.
I know. I have to give some
You got
context.
like the front and the back of the joke covered. Okay.
We're going to have to cut this for time. It's too long. Oh, man. Well, the mayor of Castleberry, Mayor Henson, just passed a law that all male best friends, so that it could be you and me, but all friends who are male must eat lunch together at least once a week. Well, it's not a law. It's not a law exactly, but it is a mandate. There you have it. The joke of the week.
What in the news? Yes. So, not talking about your jokes anymore. Last week, I was able to go to a graduation ceremony for Leadership Seminole, where our very own guest today and Mayor Dave Henson graduating hot on the heels of Castleberry Commissioner Mark Bush. And Castleberry was well represented. Lynn Hoppes, who works for the city, has also been a former guest, was the MC for that event. And it was called the Community Leadership Celebration, where people from our city and the county come together to share lunch, to celebrate the new class, to honor a leadership legend within Seminole County. And it was so good to be in person and to be able to celebrate this class, but also to spend some time celebrating the accomplishments of some of our local Castleberry leaders who have got involved at the county level.
Andy, Leadership Seminole, which you are a part of, I want to hear more about it. We had a guest on, in fact, one of the facilitators of Leadership Seminole that shared about that experience. Tell us, what is Leadership Seminole and why it matters that several of our Castleberry residents participated?
Yeah, Leadership Seminole is an organization that convenes leaders within Seminole County to get to know each other, to understand how our county works in all its different fields: education, healthcare, nonprofit, human services, and many other areas. So it really not only expands leadership capacity in us, but it helps us to lead better within the county. And so I've been through the program. Now our mayor has, I know over the years, many of our Castleberry residents has, but it helps build that crucial connection with Seminole County that we are an important part of. Drew, just before the pandemic, you and I had actually signed up to take part in a kind of Castleberry version of that. Do you remember? And it got postponed because of the COVID-19 situation, but that was I think it was an 8-week class that the city had put together, helping people learn about and understand how Castleberry works. And I'm optimistic that as Leadership Seminole continues to move forward county-wise, that as things come back to normal city-wise, that program will be able to get started again.
Absolutely. If there's anything that we've learned from our time of being citizens as well as involved members of our local community, there are opportunities to get plugged in, get connected, and to serve to make our community just the very best it can be.
Ascension Lutheran is located in the heart of Castleberry. For over 60 years, Ascension has been connecting disconnected people to the joyful community of the caring Christ. We have various Bible studies and outreach events throughout the week, and we offer both traditional, liturgical, and contemporary worship styles on Sunday mornings. For more information, please visit www.ascensionlcms.org.
We have a returning guest, and a very special one at that, our very own Mayor of Castleberry, Mayor Dave Henson. Dave, it's great to have you back on the show. Perhaps a little grayer, perhaps a little wiser than before. How are things going? How's your summer plans unfolding?
Things are going good. I'm really pleased with the progress in the city. As far as summer goes, I'm planning on doing some fishing and kayaking and spending time with my Brittany Spaniel.
That sounds like a great summer. Love the fishing concept, especially right here locally. We got some beautiful little ponds and lakes, as you know, Dave. What's your favorite spot to fish locally?
Been going bass fishing over in Middle Lake Triplet mainly. I've got a kayak, and it's a nice, pleasant afternoon to spend out there in the lake.
Dave, how much fish is in that lake? Is it pretty stocked?
Well, it depends on the time of day you fish and the weather and
how your luck is.
I've had pretty good success, mostly smaller bass, but had a few 3 or 4 pounders. No keepers. I don't keep anything unless it's 8 pounds or bigger, but it's just fun to catch and release. Good way to spend an afternoon.
Well, Dave, in addition to fishing, I know that one of your passions in life and hobbies is cars. And we are so thankful that the city of Castleberry recently opened with a public event, a car show during Memorial Weekend. Tell us a little bit about how you participated and even entered a car into the contest.
Well, I've got a 67 Mercury Comet that my nephew actually gave the car to me on the condition that I fix it up. And his grandmother bought it brand new and gave it to him. And I think she hit every mailbox in Orlando with it. So I had to do a lot of body work to it and got it looking respectable. And of course, I couldn't leave it alone. I had to make a hot rod out of it. But I take it to different car shows. Longwood has a car show every month, and took it over to Longwood. And then Post Time Lounge had a car show. Then we had ours. So I've been making the rounds with it. And the chief entered his car. He's got a Pontiac Grand Prix. So he parked next to me. So we had a chance to chat a little bit.
I'm not sure I'd want to park next to the chief in a hot rod, Dave. I mean, you could he could give you some tickets.
Well, I'm not. Parking is good. It's just when I move. It's it's got a little bit more power than most, and it's hard to take off without spinning the tires and stuff. So I waited until he left before I left. So
that's funny. We're talking about the police chief and the police in Castleberry. Dave, you and I were talking just before we hit the record button about some exciting developments in our city. And while there's a lot of things that are happening that you can't talk about because they're still brewing and contracts are still being worked out on things like that, there are a couple of things that you can tell us, some exciting breaking news, one of which has to do with our police station area. Tell us about what's happening in that location near Lake Concord Park.
Well, the property next to the police station is just signed the contract papers for that. That property has been sold to a developer, and they are courting a nice restaurant to go to that property. Well, hopefully everything works out. Shortly, we'll have a real nice restaurant in Castleberry where we can sit down and have a nice meal. It's an exciting time, long time coming, and I'm glad to see it coming. But during the campaign, I mentioned that Castleberry is becoming a destination city, and we're seeing that now. People are wanting to invest money in Castleberry. So it's a great thing. We've got a lot of good things happening.
And Dave, you mentioned as well, this episode will air on the Tuesday, but the day before on the Monday, you're going to be signing another important piece of paperwork at the commission meeting regarding the Castleberry House. Tell us about that.
Well, the city of Castleberry has agreed to buy the founder's house and the property surrounding it. It's a little over 2 acres, I believe. And that is going to be a centerpiece for Castleberry. Hopefully we'll make it a nice event center. If anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, it's a very nice piece of property on South Lake Triplet. And it's the big, I don't know what if you would call it palatial house, but it's a very nice centerpiece for Castleberry.
It's Castleberry's White House, the center of power in the city, and now coming back to be used by the people. That's great.
Certainly as fancy as we get, Dave. We're,
well, yeah,
blue collar, down to earth folks.
It has some unique history. It's just going to be a nice addition to the city.
Absolutely. And, Dave, something that's so unique about you, and I remember when you were running for the position of mayor, is just the historical connection that you hold to this city. You've served in leadership in the past. You've been a member of the city for many, many years. And really, it seems like you've kind of created a seamless transition between former Mayor Glancy and now your leadership. As you reflect back just on the first several months, what's been maybe something an unexpected challenge or difficulty that you've been forced to face?
I knew the job before I signed up for it. So I don't know the difficulty. It's one of those things that a lot of people don't understand the operation of government, and their expectations are different than reality, let's say. Government works pretty slow. Coming from a business background, as a business person, I made decisions and I acted on those decisions and went on with life. In government, it doesn't happen that way. You have to have studies. You have to make sure, because you're spending the people's money. So you have to justify everything you do. So government works at a slower pace, and probably rightly so. I guess one of the lessons that I have to keep reminding myself is have some patience. Patience with the general public that doesn't know how government works.
Yeah, there's an old African proverb, Dave, that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And going together often is a lot slower, but it's a lot more thoughtful. It's a lot more intentional. And ultimately, it'll take us where we want to be. But what else are you learning about being a mayor? What has this last 7 months taught you?
More than anything else, patience. I'm enjoying it. I'm trying to be a good representative of the city because I am the figurehead for the city. I'm only one vote on the commission, but I am the spokesperson for the city once they give me authority to speak. I take great pains in trying not to embarrass the city more than anything else. To be a good representative, just trying to be the representative that the people want.
You have really done that well, Dave, and our listeners have not. I'd encourage you to attend a city commission meeting to see Dave and the rest of the commission in action and how they conduct affairs with great professionalism and care. Dave, you mentioned earlier that Castleberry is becoming more and more a destination city within kind of our larger surrounding area. Why is it essential for us to maintain relationships with kind of the neighbors around us within the larger Seminole County?
We have to get along with everyone, and we have to coordinate a lot of things with our neighbors. I have a very good working relationship with the county commission. I've known Lee Constantine forever. He was a city commissioner in Altamont for years, and then he went up to the state, and now he's back. But I have a good working relationship with all the county commissioners. We have meetings with the mayors and managers from the other cities. Respect is something you have to earn. And that's something that I'm working towards, earning the respect of my peers so that we can disagree, but not be disagreeable. And that's important to me. To have respect for each other, respect each other's opinions, and get our viewpoints across, because being childish and arguing doesn't get anywhere. As long as we conduct ourselves with respect and honor, it goes a long way in getting what we need.
Absolutely. And Dave, I saw that through your recent experience with the Leadership Seminole classes. You and I were together last week as you graduated, but I remember sitting in on one of your classes last year and how your classmates would come up to you and were seeing you as the figurehead for our city, the leader with questions and respect. And that kind of showed me that we're on the right track as you build relationships within Seminole County. Another thing I think it revealed is that Dave, you're kind of building a reputation, which I think is great, as kind of a people's mayor. You are keen to meet with people, visit with them, talk through the issues. I know that you said earlier in the conversation that some folks don't understand how government works. And I know that you've had several conversations with several community members to help kind of them understand the process. Why is it important to you that you do kind of lead, not from the top, from some ivy tower, but you do kind of lead from the streets and connect with the people?
Well, I think it's important, one, that you show respect for people. They have questions, and they're legitimate questions, and they want answers. Sometimes they don't like the answer that you give them, but that's just the nature of the beast. The bottom line is you treat everybody with respect and you earn respect from them. There's always people that like to badmouth the city. It is what it is.
So Dave, a natural follow-up question then is, when you're hearing from folks, You're interacting with folks on the street. What can us as citizens, what would you suggest? What do you encourage from citizens regarding how we can make Castleberry the very best it can be?
Well, I've been involved in Castleberry, like I said, for 30 years. Before I got elected, I was on the Planning and Zoning Commission. I was on, after I was term limited out on the City Commission, I went back to the Planning and Zoning Commission. I was term limited out on the Planning and Zoning Commission, and I joined the Code Enforcement Board. So the city has several volunteer opportunities, and I would encourage people to be involved. It's very easy to sit back and complain, but unless you're there in the trenches, you learn a lot more about how things work. I would encourage anybody that's interested to get involved. We have Friends of the Park. We have a Lakes Board. We have all kinds of other things to be involved in. Volunteering at the Senior Center, what was the Senior Center, now it's a community center. I served as the president of the Kiwanis Club back when Castleberry had a Kiwanis Club. So I've been involved. It's just my nature. I mean, this is my home. I enjoy Castleberry. I enjoy the area. And I have made myself a part of this community simply investing my time as my most valuable commodity, to be very honest with you. Money's one thing, but my time is finite. It's very valuable to me. So I have a lot of passions, and one of them is the city.
We appreciate tremendously, Dave, you invest in your finite time, not just in the city, but because of that, in us as well, and creating a place where we can all live, work, and play with higher levels of engagement and value. You really are the people's mayor. As we've heard this interview, your motivation is for the city. I was going to say for the people, but I didn't want to sound like a legal firm close by. But you really are for the community. You connect with the community. You represent our community. And we're very, very grateful for the great job that you and those around you are doing to build our community. A part of a successful community is that we know each other and know how to connect with each other. So in closing, Dave, maybe you could just tell us once again how people can connect with you and how they can talk to you, listen to you, build community with you.
You can always reach me through City Hall. I'm never there. I visit occasionally, but I do have a cell phone number that's dedicated to the city, and that's 407-619-7710. My email is, the city email is dhenson@castleberry.org. I encourage people to stop me in Home Depot or wherever they might find me. And that happens quite frequently, to be honest with you. And it's very, very pleasant. I get along well with most folks. So it's a very pleasant experience when people come up to me and ask questions and comment about different things in the city.
So there you have it, listeners. Next time you're in Publix and you see Mayor Dave, make sure you stop by and say hi. He will appreciate it. He'll love the conversation, as we have loved our conversation with you today. Thank you so much, Mayor Henson, for joining us on the What's Up Castleberry podcast.
Dave, thank you so much for your time. We are so thankful for the mayor of our community. And Andy, those are some great words, some exciting developments happening in the city. I am certainly inspired living where we live. What a great time to be in Castleberry. As we close out another episode of our podcast, would you share with us an inspirational quote?
You bet. And Drew, this inspirational quote was one that you and I decided on before we interviewed Mayor Dave, yet Mayor Dave shared a similar sentiment in our conversation. This quote is from Neil Armstrong, the famous astronaut, who said this: "I believe every human has a finite number of heartbeats, and I don't intend to waste any of mine." I believe that every human has a finite number of heartbeats, and I don't intend to waste any of mine. As Mayor Henson was wrapping up our conversation, he talked about how one of the most precious commodities that we can give to each other is the gift of our time. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that maybe for you need to get more involved in the community, but I do want to remind all of us that we do have a limited number of heartbeats. And I think we've been given those heartbeats, not just so that we can spend our days vegging in front of Netflix or something like that, but so that we can spend our days and our heartbeats making this world a better place and making a difference in people's lives. So once again, that quote from Neil Armstrong, which I hope will become a quote that is important to you, is this: I believe every human has a finite number of heartbeats, and I don't intend to waste any of mine. As that was true of him, may it be true of us as well.
Well said, Andy. We sure hope, listener, that you have enjoyed this episode of the What's Up Castleberry podcast, a casual conversation about our community. This podcast has been produced by our lovely producer, Robin Kepi. For more information, please check out our website, Facebook page, Instagram, podcast feed, all with the name What's Up Castleberry. Share this podcast with others. Invite them to like and subscribe. Give us a rating, give us a comment, a review. And until next time, 2 things. Number 1, have a great week. And number 2, Robin is Beyonce always.
Robin, we miss you.